All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a hypothetical that is as terrifying as it is spectacular. We're going to break down step by step what would actually happen if the gas giant Saturn just appeared in our moon's orbit. So just imagine it for a second. You look up at the night sky, expecting to see our familiar friendly moon, but it's gone, and in its place hangs the colossal, ringed silhouette of Saturn. It would be a moment of just pure, terrifying beauty. And while it's also the very beginning of the end for our world as we know it.
The sheer scale of this change is it's almost impossible to get your head around. Saturn is 33 times wider than our moon. It wouldn't just be in the sky, it would be the sky, totally dominating the view, stretching from one horizon to the other. And those incredible rings, they'd stretch out so far they cover half the distance to Earth. From our viewpoint, they'd look like this razor-thin, shimmering line cutting the entire sky in half.
And let's be clear, this isn't just a change of scenery. The moment this cosmic swap happens, Earth is officially demoted. We stop being a planet. Our home would be reclassified, probably by some very panicked scientists, as an exomoon, captured by the immense gravity of this gas giant. Our entire place in the cosmos would be changed forever. Okay, this is where the physics of our complete and utter destruction really kicks in. Saturn isn't just big, it is incredibly massive. We're talking 95 times more mass than our entire planet. And as you know, mass means gravity. A lot of gravity.
To really put that into perspective, our Earth is about 81 times more massive than our own moon. So when you do the math, Saturn is a staggering 7,700 times more massive than the object it just replaced in our sky. That enormous difference is basically the engine for all the chaos that's about to be unleashed.
And that brings us to the key concept for this whole disaster, tidal force. You know how our moon's gravity pulls on the oceans to create the tides? Well, imagine that, but thousands of times stronger. Saturn's pull wouldn't just tug on the water, it would be pulling on the very rock beneath our feet, stretching and deforming the entire planet.
So, the first few minutes, they would be pure planetary scale violence. The oceans would surge into these enormous bulges, creating waves hundreds of meters high that would just scour coastlines clean off the map. Every single tectonic fault line would be stressed beyond its breaking point, setting off a chain reaction of global earthquakes that would shake cities into dust. And volcanoes, even ones dormant for centuries, would all erupt at once, choking the atmosphere with poison.
Now, for anyone who somehow miraculously survives that initial onslaught, the situation only gets worse. Earth is no longer gravitationally tied to the sun. We've been captured. We are now in a slow but completely inevitable death spiral, moving closer and closer to the gas giant every single day.
So you might be thinking, okay, that's it, right? We've hit rock bottom. But the thing is, we're not just falling towards Saturn, we're falling into its already established system of moons. We're about to enter a kind of cosmic obstacle course, and the first major obstacle is already on a collision course with us. If you looked up, you'd see a new gray rock in the sky, getting bigger and bigger by the second. That's Dione, one of Saturn's major moons. Now, remember the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs? That was about 10 kilometers across. Dione is over 1,100 kilometers across. That's more than 100 times larger, and it's headed right for us. The violence of an impact like this is, well, it's pretty much unimaginable. Hitting our atmosphere, Dione would become a fireball that fills the entire sky. The impact itself would punch a crater the size of a country deep into Earth's crust, unleashing a shockwave of pure fire that would incinerate the whole globe. Chunks of molten rock would be blasted into space, only to rain back down as searing hot lava, leading to the complete and total sterilization of Earth's surface.
And in the aftermath of a collision like that, our beautiful blue and green planet would be gone. It would be transformed into a glowing red-hot ball of magma, utterly devoid of all life except for maybe some of the most extreme bacteria hiding deep in oceanic volcanic vents.
But let's say we get incredibly lucky. Let's say we somehow thread the cosmic needle and miss Dione. The journey is far from over. We'd still have to navigate past 11 of Saturn's other inner moons. A collision with another one, like Tethys, would be just as catastrophic. Even a near miss with the moon Mimas could literally tear away strips of our atmosphere. Every close pass would trigger fresh waves of destructive tidal forces on our already shattered world.
At this point, it's pretty hard to imagine anyone left on the surface. The only human witnesses would probably be any astronauts trapped on something like the International Space Station, pulled along for this terrifying ride. From their window, they would witness the next and maybe most iconic phase of our planet's destruction.
Yeah, this really gets at the harsh reality of Saturn's rings. From far away, they look so gentle, almost like a cloud. But up close, they're a high-speed blizzard of trillions of icy, rocky chunks. Everything from tiny dust motes to boulders the size of mountains. It's a deadly debris field, and Earth is about to plow right through it.
As our planet tears through this field, our atmosphere would just ignite with an unending stream of meteors. It would be, without a doubt, the most spectacular and final light show in human history. From a distance, it would literally look like Earth was a giant eraser, rubbing out a path through those iconic rings.
So the final act takes about 3 days. After passing through the worst of the rings, our battered planet would settle into a temporary orbit, experiencing these long, deep freezing hours of darkness as it passes through Saturn's immense shadow. Then, about 3 days into this nightmare, at a distance of 71,000 kilometers from Saturn, Earth would reach an invisible boundary. This boundary is called the Roche Limit, and it is the absolute point of no return. It's the zone where the tidal forces from a massive object like Saturn become so powerful that they overpower the gravity holding a smaller object, like Earth, together. Once we cross this line, our planet's fate is completely sealed by the laws of physics.
This is it, the final battle. On one side, you have the gravity that has held Earth together for 4.5 billion years. On the other, you have the overwhelming, crushing tidal force of a gas giant 95 times more massive. You know, this is not a fair fight. Saturn wins, end of story.
Within just hours of crossing the Roche Limit, the process begins. Saturn's gravity, pulling so much more strongly on the side of Earth facing it than the side facing away, would begin to stretch our planet out like taffy. Our world would deform, elongate, and then start to crack and fracture under the incredible strain.
The mechanical destruction would be total. The sphere that was once our home would be completely unmade, torn into billions upon billions of pieces of rock, rubble, and molten core, all now just floating as individual pieces of space debris. And here we find the ultimate poetic irony. Those billions of pieces, the remains of our mountains, our oceans, our cities, everything, they wouldn't just float away. They would spread out along their new orbit, forming a brand new, thin, rocky band around the gas giant. Earth would become the newest ring of Saturn. It really leaves you with a final fascinating thought, doesn't it? If, in the distant future, some intelligent life from another star system were to visit Saturn, they might puzzle over the unique composition of this one particular ring. They'd study its rocky makeup and wonder what strange moon or asteroid was destroyed here, never, ever knowing it was once a world teeming with life, art, and all of our history.